The Gina and Maddie podcast.
Something that is happening on the coast this weekend. There's a doubleheader of footy. Let's talk footy because it's back. Pre-season cup kicked off last night with the one and only Zach Bailey from Channel 9, the best-looking reporter on their stable. Hello, Zach.
Morning, Matty. I'll have to slip you that 50 when I see you next.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Yeah, easy. Anytime. Footy's back, Zach. Let's talk last night. What happened?
Well, firstly, how good is it to hear Tina Turner? That track never gets old. Simply the best. We've been starved of footy. I know you love your cricket. A lot of us love our tennis as well over summer. But yeah, footy was back at Belmore last night. The Bulldogs up against the Storm. I guess the two big stories were the return of Ryan Pappenhausen for Melbourne after his really ugly ankle injury last year, and Bronson Xerri, who had missed 4 years of footy due to a drugs ban. They were both really strong on return, which is great for both of their respective clubs. So I think it was just good. There was a good turnout at Belmore, and as you said, footy's back, and we can't wait for the action up on the coast tomorrow.
Zacco, are they playing full squads? Like, are they full strength teams that are running around in the pre-season cup?
Well, it's hard to get a read on things, Matty, just because each team are taking things completely differently. So Manly had a trial last week, and their team was really strong, whereas they take on the Roosters tomorrow, and the Roosters are completely stacked. It's almost one of their strongest side or close to, whereas Manly have only got a couple of first graders in there. So It's really hard to get a read on where your team's at this time of year. Each coach is doing things for their own reasons. The Bulldogs showed really good signs in the second half last night, but it was against a really inexperienced Melbourne team. So it's hard to get a read, but you do see glimpses of the Stars across the weekend.
Zach, I've got to ask you a question for my husband. He's a tragic Tigers fan. He supported them through bad times and bad times and bad times. But he will never he gets in betting comps with his besties. He won't ever even bet against them, even though he's pretty sure they're going to lose. He still bets for them. How are they going to go this year, do you think, Zach?
Well, he's a very loyal man if he's never bet against the Tigers over the last decade or two, because it's been a long drought for them. It's positive signs for the Tigers, purely because Benji Marshall is their favourite son. He's in charge. His right-hand man is Robbie Farah, another club great. The big question mark over the Tigers is, can Benji be as good a coach as he was player? And there's so many good players out there that haven't transitioned well. He's got everyone buying in. He's got a new hard stance in terms of training standards at the club, and he's recruiting some big names. So I don't know if we'll see a massive turnaround this year, but promising signs next year when Jerome Luai heads over from Penrith. So I wouldn't say they'll finish last, but hopefully they climb the ladder slightly.
What about Manly, Zach? What about Manly? Come on, mate.
Oh, so much promise. But, Matty, as you know, so much hinges, I guess, on Tom Trbojevic being fit this year, Daly Cherry Evans remaining fit.
Yeah.
And the big one for me, Luke Brooks, speaking of the Tigers, he was almost, the fall boy for them, and, the person that got hammered from pillar to post for all of their failings and not being, in the finals for more than a decade. He comes to Manly with plenty of promise, and I know he feels free now of pressure, but if the results don't go Manly's way, then the pressure will start to mount on that signing. I just hope, for his sake and for Manly's sake and for your sake, Matty, that Luke Brooks and Daly Cherry Evans just gel, and it's a great combo. And then obviously off the back of that, it flows onto Turbo and Josh Schuster and all those guys finding form as well. So if Manly are fully fit, definitely a top 8 side.
I'll have my Brooksvale sign ready to go for him when he makes his.
I'm sure you've already got it ready. Come on.
Quickly, we've got the games up here on the coast over the weekend, and we've got some tickets to give away. If anyone wants to go along and see the Knights take on the Sharks and the Roosters take on the Sea Eagles tomorrow at Industry Group Stadium, give us a call right now, 4365 1045. We'll sling you some tickets. Who are you predicting is going to take out the premiership this year, Zach? Like, can the Panthers do it again, or is it someone else's turn?
Well, the Panthers, it would be a great story. They've lost some key players. The main one is Stephen Crichton this year, but they've been able to overcome that in recent years. I think their biggest threat, if all goes well for them, on paper, the Roosters have the strongest squad. Now, they also had a really strong squad last year, but injuries and other things went against them. So the Roosters on paper, let's just heap more pressure on the Glamour Club, the Bondi Boys. Let's say the Roosters all the way will go all the way this year. They won't actually, but let's put pressure on them to say they are full favourite.
Zachy, thanks so much for your time this morning, mate. We'll check in with you throughout the season, and we'll keep an eye on Channel 9 for all your reports. You are the best in the biz. Appreciate it, mate.
Thanks so much for having me.
Gina and Maddie.
What you doing this week?
Central Coast Weekender.
Come on, let's go.
Hey, Adam, we need to know, what should we do this weekend?
Okay, well, it is a big weekend of sport. You guys have already sort of touched on it. You were just talking to Zach Bailey. So there is the NRL doubleheader happening tomorrow night. Good weather for it, as Maddie just mentioned.
Yes.
We've got family passes you can win across the workday too, from 9 to that. Then Central Coast Mariners on Sunday. So our Paradise is going to be very busy.
Yeah.
They are taking on Western Sydney Wanderers. That kickoff is happening 5 p.m. So you can get your tickets at ccmariners.com.au. For the boys, still second on the A-League ladder. So
How good is that?
going strong.
Yeah.
What if you're not into sport, Ads?
Well, if you like markets,
Hello.
I know my audience here. Sunday, your Minor Beachside markets are on.
Oh, I haven't been to that one.
Well,
That sounds fabulous.
sounds like you've got Sunday morning taken
I
care
have,
of.
I have.
And if you're a fan of music, Gina,
Yes, hello again.
yep, Drifters Wharf, Jack Botts is performing on Saturday. If you don't know who he is, got a bit of his song here, Home to You.
Wow. Oh, that sounds like a nice... When did you say that is?
Saturday.
Oh, nice thing to do on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Such a good live music venue.
Isn't
too,
that fabulous?
Drifters.
The position.
Yeah.
You're looking out over the water.
Good for the gram.
Yes,
for the
very
gram.
Instagrammable.
This song feels like it goes with being by the water.
Totally
you know?
right.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still just lost in this song at the
That's
moment.
good. How do you think your Knights are going to go against the Sharks, just quickly?
I know we don't have all our best players on the field, but, you know, I don't care how this game goes. It's just the end result, getting the top 4. We've got O'Brien, the coach, signed for another 3 years, and Best signed this week for another 3 years. So I am ready.
I only asked you to watch Loz and Gina's eyes glaze over once again as we talk.
I just thought there's been a lot of footy talk this morning.
The Gina and Maddie Podcast.
For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.